Friends and family, welcome to another live broadcast brought to you by Premier's Turning Point, with your host, Bishop Dr. Uton Lane, and co-host, Overseer Franklin Williamson. We pray and hope that something that is being said today will bless your soul and spirit. Please take a quick moment to like and share this broadcast with your friends and family. Thank you again for joining us. Let's go into our live program.
Blessings, and good evening, one and all. It's just so good to be back with you this evening as we bring you Premier's Turning Point. And we are going to try to keep you well informed and just keep you up to date in what's going on in the world. We're going to spend a few first segment talking about the coronavirus and update. Feel free to ask any questions if the discussion prolongs, and we'll continue that into the second segment. If not, we will talk about some current events and what is going on around. We want you to make sure that you're well informed and you are getting all the necessary information to make a good decision. So Turning Point is about keeping you current, keeping you up to date, what is going on, and just, keeping your, mind and your natural mind and everything like that. So that's what we're about. And we want to make sure that you're getting all that information and you're, up to date. Please remember to like and share the program so that we can have even more people engaged. So share with your friends, your loved ones. Make sure they're joining in with us, because we want this information to be widespread, get to everyone so everybody can, be up to date. Don't forget also, if you have any questions or comments, just please, make that known in the group, on the chat or on the comments. Just make sure, we know what your questions and comments are, because we want you to really get all the information that you need. So we want everybody that are joining in to like, share, call up your friends, your loved ones, let them know that we are on, and we wanted to engage them in this conversation and be of help, I hope, to everybody involved. So we want you to do that right now and just, let us move on. So, of course, we are talking about just an update on the coronavirus. There's a lot of activities. There's a lot of issues going on. I think the population's up to almost 70%. It's not quite there yet, but we're heading there toward getting almost 70% covered. And this is kind of one of the goals that have. So we want everybody to be making sure you're sharing information. If you have questions, are still concerned about the vaccine, concerned about getting the vaccine, make sure you get that information so you can make a good decision. We want you to be, getting all up to date. The hope is that as the population get more vaccinated, everything is trying to be opened up, but we can be opening up at a much safer level, because if everybody is vaccinated, or a majority of the people are vaccinated, then, we can be unmasked both inside, outside, and such like. There's a lot of guidelines that we still have to follow. There's still places where you have to wear a mask, even if you're vaccinated, and because there's still a lot of people around that are not. So we want to make sure everybody is being safe and following the rules, following the guidelines, and getting everything set up in a good way. So the virus is still reigning kind of strong in certain areas. Certain areas we're still seeing quite of an incidence of it. They're still seeing quite a few children now that are coming down with the virus, and some of them needing ICU admission. So we're still warning everybody, especially the age group that is not vaccinated, to make sure you're following the rules and you're really trying to make sure everybody is safe. If you are out and about in a large crowd, you're still recommended that you wear a mask. Of course, if you're outside, it's less restrictive, but especially if you're inside or in a place that you have to be in for a long time with a lot of people, you want to make sure you're still protected. They're working on seeing how long this immunity is lasting, either from the virus or getting the disease or from being vaccinated. So that is in progress, and we're trying to do our best to, set that in place and move that along. We want everybody to be very, very much careful and aware of what's going on, and make sure that you're well covered and you're taking all the necessary precautions. One of the things that I still want to caution all our churches as we are opening up, keep in mind not everybody's vaccinated, so you still have to follow those guidelines, whatever guidelines is in your state. We can go up to a certain amount of people in the building, depending on your size, as long as you can still distance. I know one of the things which we're going to talk about in the second segment, I want some input on, basically as we are opening up churches, should we, to help the whole situation, should we be putting vaccinated people on one ear where we can accommodate more and such like? I'm going to ask that question in the second segment. That's kind of the thing I'd like to discuss and to get some feedback from the group to see if anybody have any thoughts on that. So for right now, most vaccines are very accessible. Most of the stations that are set up are still functioning. And if not, you can walk into almost any pharmacy now, because all the pharmacies, the major ones that is, do have the vaccine. And you can, then get that set up and get up to date. You can walk in for your first one. You can walk in even for your second one, and then get it updated. The key point is you should keep your vaccine card handy so that you have that, and you're seeing that, and you're being able to share that information if it's needed in any circumstances. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. For those of people who are back to work, you should follow the guidelines of your employer. And I think most people are still requiring masks if it's a closed area, and such alike. And again, as more people are vaccinated, we will see some relaxation of all of these requirements. Certain other colleges, when they go back, they're going to be required that people be vaccinated and such like. I know there's still quite a few people who are hesitant about being vaccinated, and I would love to entertain any questions or comments from any of those people that are maybe listening today, because we want to understand what are the hesitations, what are the things that people have questioned about, and we want to give answers to all those questions so that people can have and feel a little bit more comfortable about, how they're functioning and, how they're doing. So you're going to see a slew of things opening up. I know the sporting events, they're kind of opening up. I know a lot of them do have segregation, so they're putting vaccinated people, for example, in one area and those that are not on the other. And then they're, having distancing requirements based on whether the people are vaccinated or not, which is something interesting that we have to think about as we move forward, which we're going to get some input, as I said, from you this evening, where you feel on that. We want everybody to really, though, get all the information, follow the regulations, and making sure you're staying safe. Of course, we do understand, and that if you're exposed or you get exposed to the virus, you still have to take the necessary precautions, especially if you're not immunized. And we want to try to reduce the spread as much as possible. Premier Family Life, for example, we have really done a pretty good job in terms of screening. We have also done pretty much everything in a mask, including preaching, singing, being that time of your speaking, the time of your shouting, preaching, singing is really the time when you could, express a lot more virus into the environment, and then having people at risk. We have heard and seen of some churches who have had quite a bit of spread because of these practices. So we're still cautioning everybody until everybody is immunized or more people is immunized. You should be taking precautions and making sure that you're following the rules and you're staying distance and staying as safe as possible. And it's really, it's a thing that is not always convenient. Some people feel funny in the mask and all of that stuff. But I think until we get it up to where a lot more people are immunized, that's still the best way to go and the best way to keep this, keep this all in line. So we want you to make sure that you're doing everything that you can. I think so a little bit more about the vaccine. We realize now that the children age 12 and up can get immunized. It is now available for that age group. So we want everybody to be aware of that. Make sure you're aware of that, and so that you're using making that making the choice if you have a child in that age group to now get them immunized. Because again, the more people immunized, the less likelihood of spread, as we mentioned before. So, excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. So my allergies are acting up a little bit today. Children, the immunization is now available to Pfizer. One is down to age 12 that they can be vaccinated. And again, you can go to pretty much any pharmacy, get up to date, and get all of the information there. They are working on the studies for the younger children. So that's the next step in terms of studies. They're working on that to see and making a decision pretty soon if it is safe for the younger children, from I think, age 1 to up. They're doing those studies now. So we should have some information on that over the next couple months. I think one of the thought is, potentially if any of the vaccines are clear, then the school-age children could potentially be vaccinated before the start of school or soon after the start of school in September. So I think that's where we're leaning towards. I think by September is leaning that pretty much everything would be opened up and everything would be made more available. Hopefully by then 70 to 80% of people will be immunized. I did listen to one program today, and I think even some of the people that have been hesitant are becoming more so now open to this. So hopefully we're going to see a big push over the next few months to get even a lot more people immunized, and so having the population relatively safe to reopen. There's still some places, even with the reopening, that masks are required. I think on airlines, masks are still required. Any healthcare facilities that you're visiting or going into, masks are still required, and such like. So be sure you're aware of all of the regulation requirements so that you're not, violating any of those things as we proceed and go along. So you want to be sure that you know the rules of your workplace of employment. If you're in school, college, know the rules and have all of that, kind of settled in your mind so you know how to best conduct yourself. So we want everybody to be as safe as possible, to still be sanitizing, you're washing hands, using a mask where necessary so we can prevent further spread. I know the numbers have gone quite down in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, in this area. The numbers are really down. The hospitalizations are down. Those in the ICU are also down. So this is really, really very good. And we need to all continue to work together so that we can even, have a grand reopening of everything as much as possible. So I am still open then for any comments or questions. Anyone on that have a question, please put that in the comments. so that we can, answer them. And we want everybody to start thinking of reopening and how we can best safely do it. You need to know your area, your rules in your local area, and then we're going to work together to make this work and happen. So the coronavirus is still around. However, we're seeing definite improvement in terms of the numbers being decreased. And even with the advent of variants, we're still seeing where the immunization, the shot is still pretty effective against most all the variants that they have seen so far. So you'll hear more about this as time progresses. As time goes on, you're going to hear a lot more talk about, both the immunizations and all of that stuff, and then go forward. And then so we're going to just change tune a little bit. I just want to make some general comments about the program and where the program is headed. So Premier's Turning Point will remain an informational program. We also would like input from you. If you have, we're going to have going forward maybe like a first segment where we update you on whatever current thing is active right now. That first segment is still going to be about the coronavirus. We're going to take a break. At that break time, what I would like to do is to share just general information in terms of upcoming events and things going on. So anyone have a event that you want us to share on the program, please get that into us at least about a week ahead of time so that we can then share that. So we'll spend a few minutes, more like an intermission. And over that time, we will, hopefully put up, what's going on in our area. And that is any churches, any organizations, anybody who has some stuff going on that you'd like us to share, you would get that information to us and we'll share that. For today, I just wanted to share with you all that we know Premier Family Life. We have upcoming on June 26th, if I didn't get the date wrong, is we're going to have an open mic in the park at Harvey Inman Park. And we're inviting singers, dancers, anybody who'd want to partake. We're just going to spend a time of worship and just to reach out to the community and just to share. So if you have any talents and you would like to share them on that day, please reach out to us. You can send an email to info@pflmi.org. And, we will give you information. We'll reach out to you and get you, more information and such alike. You can also check this out on our Facebook page, Premier Family Life, and also on our website at pflmi.org. You can get all the information about this upcoming thing. It's for the whole community, for everyone around. So if you're available and around, you want to share with us, feel free to send us your information. There will be more coming out on that. We also, have some other stuff later on in the summer that we'll be doing. Another announcement is we have our anniversary and dedication service coming up in August. I think it's August. I'll give you out the date next time. I think it's August 13th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're planning to have an awesome time. And so we're already inviting people out to that. We're going to have an in-person service, and then we'll also have Bitstream so everybody can partake in that. So any other events anyone would like us to mention, feel free to put that also in the chat so we can talk about it. All right, so that's kind of our general consensus how the program will be going. And then usually we'll have a second session that we're going to talk about current events. One of the things I would like to talk about today, and I really, really would like your input. So those people listening, watching, get on and make some comments. We are opening back up, most the churches and such like. And so one of the things I'd love to hear some feedback on, would people be offended if, you go to church and there's seats and they have one side is for vaccinated people and then the other side for unvaccinated people, realizing that the people that are vaccinated, you could set them in a different arrangement and you may be able to accommodate more people in the service. Still, of course, you'll still be required to wear a mask because they're going to be a mixture of vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So that'll be given. But what do people think? Would anybody be very offended if you get to a church, any church, including ours, and we're letting they inform you they're seating people according to vaccination status? That is, they would be putting vaccinated people one side, and then of course they could be 3 feet apart, such like, versus then another side for unvaccinated, where they would have to obey the more 6-foot rule and go that. Again, personally, I think this is something we have to start considering, to accommodate more people in the service. We see this is what they're doing in even the sporting arenas and the sporting places, that they are doing a similar kind of thing where they're segregating seats based on vaccination status. And they seem to not have much of an issue. But as a church, I'm just wanted to hear some feedback that people may have regarding this issue. So if you have a comment and you'd like to share something about that, feel free to make a suggestion in the comments or share with us. This is something, though, as we open up, and I'm sure you're gonna see this issue come up in a lot of places, not even in restaurants, in any kind of the sporting places already doing it, as I mentioned. But I'm sure restaurants and other facilities that people are going to be congregating for any period of time may be considering, doing something to that effect. And, and as the churches reopen, that may be something that they have to consider. So it's just to get some feedback, hopefully today, as to what people think and what are people's thoughts about that. But that's one issue. There are a couple other issues that have come up in the news this week. Is one of the things, my other thing I would like to discuss is what can the churches do about the rash of violence and mass shootings and all the things that we see going on. As the church, what should the church be doing? So that's another thing I would like to have some discussion on. My thoughts are, I think the church, yes, we know that we're living in the end of times. And of course, the Bible is clear that we're going to have wars, rumors of wars. We're going to have all this hatred and all these things that are going on. And that's some of the stuff that we're seeing that is happening. But even with that said, we see the gun violence have really ratcheted up and have escalated to an height. So should the church be, having vigils, prayer vigils? Should the church be, getting out into the community, having community prayers, and, asking for God's direction? I know the answer, but I would just want to engage others at thought. Because I think one of the things the churches should consider is what are we doing, to make an effect on the community, on the population and such alike. What are we doing? Are we really making a leeway and being there for support for the community and for help even in this time like this? So that's the other thing that I wanted just to bring to the forefront for a little bit of discussion. If anyone would like to engage us with any comments or questions where that's concerned, because we all living in this world. We know that this is not our final resting place, but this is where we are right now. So we have to make the best of it. And also, this is a good time, I think, with all of the goings on, people to get people's attention and turn them to the Lord and share the Lord with them so that they can, hopefully understand, and come to know the goodness of the Lord. And that, I know, can make a drastic change in behavior, a drastic change in how people are reacting, what people are doing, and such like. So I think that's another important area that as a church we should be embarking on, really putting a push to improve the church's visibility, and hopefully the church's influence could be spread out a little bit more, and more people could be alert to what is going on. So this is a really, 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 I think, important, as we are part of the community. I think the church should start speaking out a lot more about these issues, and then see how we can actually, come up with helping, even the people who have had people who are lost over this period of time, whether by the pandemic, by shootings, as a church really being there for comfort, even also for these people, and to give them, some kind of solace in the Lord, let them realize. So I think, one of the things that Premier will be doing, and I think we're challenging the others, to come up with some plan to really aid the community in this matter. There's nothing that is too hard for God. We're very much aware of that. We proclaim it, we profess it, we believe it. So now I would really like to see us, acting then as if we know who God is, and sharing what we have, peace that we have, the joy that we have, and to more people, so that they can understand, where we're going and the leading of the Lord and what He's leading us into. So it's really very important, I think, that we are, effective in sharing and, getting out there and even being more supportive, and also, being more prayerful regarding, all that is going on in the area. So it's really a matter of, what effort are we putting out? And we want to really make every effort to do more and do what's right, and also to share, that people can understand, where they are, where they're standing, and what is it that they can do. So it's going to be very important that this is something that we do. So we want you to, if you have a comment, if you'd like to share in anything, just let us know by putting that in, so that we can, even continue this dialogue. So those are the main current things, really, I wanted to get some feedback on, as we reopen churches, was it be something that everybody think is okay for the church to inquire about immunization status, and maybe see people accordingly to try to accommodate more people in the actual service. So that's, kind of where we are with that. And so it's really a point of us asking, how do people feel, and what do people, feel about that? So if you have anything to share, please do so, as we prolong. Yeah, we are going only about 10 more minutes. We have changed the format. As I said, we have an introductory segment. We're going to have a time of advertising and sharing, and then we're going to really wrap it up with then talking about another topic. So today, it's still the hot topic is still coronavirus, and second hot topic is the gun violence that we're seeing, kind of rampage in America right now. And then the other thing that I was really looking for input, if anybody would like to share, is, as churches, specifically churches reopen, do we think it's okay for them to segregate and separate the vaccinated from unvaccinated worshipers in an attempt to increase the numbers that can be accommodated? So again, personally, I don't see a major issue with it. We see other arenas it's happening right now, but I know we wanted to get some feedback, and we're going to make a decision as we go along after we have some of that feedback. So if you want to share on that tonight, just put a comment. If not, you can reach out to us otherwise as well, and give us your feedback where that's concerned. I think it's going to be important, though, that we, as we try to get back to normal, that we be open with one another and be protective of one another. I think it's paramount, and I think most of the things that we personally have done is more to protecting one another. And we do not think that God is not able to heal, to deliver. We believe that strongly. However, we still believe that Lord has given us common knowledge, common sense, that prevention can be done and can be done safely, and things can be done in that manner. Personally, we have not seen much any immediate spread from any of our congregants, but we think we see because of what we're doing, and such alike. Now, one comment on the line: I think we should wear masks whether vaccinated or not. Actually, that's actually what I actually said, that we're still going to have to wear masks because unless everybody's 100% vaccinated, we still want to be thinking of others. So personally, in our congregation, vaccinated or not, we're still going to have a mask wearing until things change more. So that wasn't the question. The question that I was trying to entertain and ask is, if would everybody think it'd be offensive, whether it be offensive or not, to ask people's vaccination status and seat accordingly in an attempt to increase the number of people we can accommodate, being that the vaccinated group, we could accommodate more people because of the less distancing, even though we'll still be wearing masks. So that's really what I was looking for, some input here. We'll still personally, and I think it's still a recommendation, if you're inside a building with multiple and different people, that you should still wear a mask. That is still what the recommendation is. So whether vaccinated or not, refers to protect others and to kind of decrease any spread that is potential. So that is definitely still the thing that is in order. But really was looking for any input, if anybody have any thoughts or feelings about being segregated in a church based on vaccination status. So that it would be seating those who are vaccinated on one side with less distancing, and then on the other side you would have those who are not vaccinated with, of course, more distancing. So these are all the things that we have to consider as we reopen and as we move forward. So, it's really something to consider and think about. And, anybody's want to make any input, just put your comments there for us as you share with us. But I think over the next few weeks, what we're going to see is even more openings and more things, more people back, together. So I think, any kind of inside facilities, though, I think it's still gonna be warranting mask wearing versus, of course, if you're outside and you're vaccinated, the recommendation is now that you probably don't have to wear a mask. But as if you're vaccinated and you're really around just people that are vaccinated and you're outside. I think we're gonna see over the next few months, if we have another wave come along with as we open up. And I think then we'll have to make adjustments. But I think I'm sure all the states are going to be pretty vigilant in watching, as people get back together to see, is there any resurgence? And of course, if they see something, they'll quite quickly make adjustments to fix that and to make it as safe as possible. But, it's really going to come down to, I think, the honor system, that people have to, be responsible, to, of course, be thinking of others and protecting others. So making sure if you're not vaccinated, you're taking the necessary precautions. And then, of course, the vaccinated people, if you're in large crowds, you should also take the necessary precautions to prevent further spread. And it's going to be so important going forward that we know that we're working on this together. It's going to be interesting as the schools reopen up in September. If the children are not vaccinated, what are going to be the recommendations? I still think you're going to still have mask wearing until they have a really large amount of people that are vaccinated. I think until then, you're going to still see the mask being worn and people being careful in that way. So it's really, really important that, we all, look out for one another and be vigilant, watch out, listen for any changes, any recommendations, any things that can be done differently, and just, work accordingly. That is really the important thing to do. This pandemic is probably one of the worst things we've seen, but, thank God we're coming through. And I think we can come out even better if everyone is taking the necessary precautions and doing the right thing and following up, right? Because, we look back, we see at the beginning of all this, we can look back, hindsight, and say, now, I think if we were being more protective, we were following the rules and doing everything, we may have, been out of this sooner, and we may have been, working more together. Hallelujah. Yes. So we say, one other comment said they think that all vaccinated persons should be by themselves. So that's one person who is probably saying it's probably okay from their standpoint to segregate and put the vaccinated on one side and the unvaccinated on the other. And so, of course, we're going to look into this and see which way we're going to follow on it. The key point is, I want everybody to understand this, and all the churches can follow suit. We're going to be still wearing masks until, a majority of the people are vaccinated or covered, because we're still want to be very protective. We want to look out for one another. We want to ensure that everybody is feeling safe and can come out feeling unsafe. All right. So one person comment was that segregation because of vaccination status may be good to get more people out, but they don't think it's a good idea. Correct them if they're wrong. I can't correct you because we're just getting comments, but you should probably tell me why you don't think it's a good idea. I know people have, why wouldn't it be a good idea is probably the question then. If you don't think it's a good idea, why not? Why not, separate people based on that? There's notion. Some people may feel that you're singling them out, and it may cause, more people to feel hesitant. So that, and then of course the people who are not vaccinated may say, well, if they're gonna single me out, then I'm not gonna go and such. So that's why I'm getting some input to see, where we're gonna fall on this. I think we have to come up with some kind of plan over the next few months of what's the best way to do this. And I think, hopefully, as we talk more about it, we will get, come up with a consensus of, what, people think and how people think is the best way to go about doing this. All right. So think about it. We will ask the question again next week when we get back together. But you've been tuning into Premier's Turning Point. This is Bishop Dr. Lang. We're thanking everybody who joined with us this evening, who shared with us, and who are watching. Remember to keep sharing with your friends and neighbors. If you have any questions after we are off, you can feel free to reach out to us by email or in any way, by phone or email, and just give us all your input, your feedback, and let us continue to have a wonderful time and just giving out information. So we thank you for joining us today. We thank you for, this is kind of our new format. We have 2 20-minute segments with a break, and we want everybody to, of course, if the conversation and discussion is necessary, we can always prolong longer. So we thank you. Today we updated you on the coronavirus. We touched bases on, talked a little bit about segregation as churches reopen. And also the other question was, what can the churches do about all the gun violence and all of the violence that is going on? The bottom line is we can pray, we can fast, we can have, vigils, but I think we need to start entertaining and having more discussions in the community as to what it is that we can do. So God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. God bless you.
Turning Point family, what an awesome time we just had. To all our first-time guests, we truly appreciate you for joining our live broadcast. We would like to hear from you, so please send us your comments, questions, or testimonies of how this program has impacted your life. Our email address is info@pflmi.org. Finally, if you feel led at any time to give to this ministry, please visit us at pflmi.org and click on the tab for donations. You can also give via Cash App at $PFLMIORG. We're looking forward to meeting with you live on next week's program. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend.